Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Godmother podcast. I am the Godmother, and I am so glad that you have joined us today. Let me start by saying I welcome you. For those of you who are new, welcome. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. For those of you who are returning, thank you. I appreciate your support so much. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. I just want to throw this disclaimer in here really quick. So me myself, I am the godmother. I am not a doctor, a nurse, a psychiatrist, no type of medical practitioner or licensed certified individual in the medical field or in the mental health field. What I do is I share my testimony. You are more than welcome to take what you feel that might be able to resonate in your life and you leave whatever is left. This is how I am sharing and bringing my more positive contribution to this society by sharing my testimony. And so, what does that mean? Well, for those of you who are new, what and who is the godmother? As I stated earlier, it is me. And what does that mean? That means that I am an individual who chooses to bring nourishment for your mind, body, and soul. And what does that look like? That looks like inspiring, encouraging, motivating, uplifting individuals to be able to be their best self. That can look like anything from my messages to my books to just simple quotes to me even having conversations with you. And these are one of the ways that I channel that aid and support. So it might not be the message for you, but please, if I know it can resonate with someone, pass it along to them. It took me a while to be able to get comfortable enough to share and share my experiences, but actually start my channel. And I am very happy that I did because I know it's a lot of people who actually go through a lot and just don't know where to go or who to go. Now, don't get me wrong. There are many other avenues, resources, and sources out there. You could just add me to the list. I want to be able to be that source of comfort, safe haven that you go to as well. On my channel, we talk about things that stemmed around individuality, family, home, occupation, education, community. I always want to be able to give knowledge, give information, share strategies and methods that surrounded in one of those topics. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am an artist, I am an author, I am an event planner, and I am a motivational speaker. My artistry can be accessed through my website as well as Pinterest. You can go to my bio and access my information so that you can get to me. If you having problems getting to the link, you don't see it, please utilize my email, reach out to me, and I will respond. I make customized art pieces, and you could be able to visually view some of those on my Pinterest as well as my website. In addition to an artist, I am an author, and I have several publications out on Amazon. I have a fiction book, I have a self help book, I have several journals, as well as a family book. And this family book, I feel, is going to be a great gift for us to be able to give as gifts to mothers, fathers, family members, but more importantly, give for yourself and be able to take to the family gathering and get your family members to add to the family book so that you can have your own heirloom to pass down with generations. These are all available on my Amazon, and you can access any information that you need on my bio. Now, normally I'm drinking on some tea today, but I haven't really You know what I'm saying? Made me no tea. I'm just pretty much getting in the house, starting in. I want to go ahead and get my content out the way. You know, when you in the boss mode, you better believe, trust and believe it's stuff that you have to do. But more importantly, when you in your calling and your purpose, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. Now, when I thought about the basic general topics that I would be making content of, it is the topics that I use in my book that I published, which is the self-help book called Set Your Ship to Sail. Please, I ask you to research it, find it, get your copy, and pass it on to someone. And I use those areas of life because they're general, but they're very common and they're very important. And so when it comes to today, I'm going to basically speak on one of the topics of occupation. So I share with you all what I do. I love that I am so confident and I am at a space in my life where I feel good when people say, well, what do you do? I don't just have to say, oh, I work at Target or I work at Aldi. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those positions. I'm saying it took me so long to be so confident and comfortable in being able to walk in who I am and what I do, because a lot of times we don't know how to present that, right? And it took me a long time to really understand that. So, um, as they say, what do you do for a living? My career, I label off 4 different titles. My job, on the other hand, pays for my businesses, funds my businesses, and some of my bills. But at the end of the day, I'm still working, building to get to a point where I don't even have to clock a 9 to 5. But what I do, and I share what it is that I am, which is an artist, an author, an event planner, and a motivational speaker. Now, it took me a long time to get to a point to even feel comfortable to invest in my craft, my skills, my talents. A lot of us don't think like that. Sometimes it's because we're so focused on going to that 9 to 5 that we need that money, so that's the focus. I'm not knocking you neither. But I want you to remember, as we clock into somebody else's job, business, and company, we're helping them build their dream. Now, I heard from a wise person that make sure that the same amount of energy and time you give this individual for their dream, you put that same time and energy in for your dream. And many times, many of us don't do that. And we wonder why we stagnate. Why we stagnate. I have an emotional and a mental toolkit that I have created and I use to be able to continue to move forward toward on my dreams and goals. I kept saying I wanted to start this podcast. If you look back at my videos, there is a video that I made, had to be over a decade ago. And then I didn't make any more until like maybe 6 years later. But nevertheless, the thing is this is that, and I'm gonna do some name dropping here real quick. 19 Keys just dropped another video and talk about the systems that we live by in our life. I'll find the video and I'll share it, and then you all could be able to watch it. But trust me, it is powerful. But it goes back to, what are you doing in your everyday life? What are you doing every day? What it is that you're doing toward what it is you want to do. Make sure I want you to understand it. What are you doing every day toward what it is that you want to do? Now, many of us have to first figure out what we want to do. I'm not talking about your 9 to 5 job. If it is the company that you created and started, then this message is not for you because you've done it. If anything, go ahead and put your information down because I can follow you as well and learn a lot from you too. That's where I'm at. But for those of us that are not there yet, are we feeding our craft, our gifts, our skills? And it does become difficult and hard and challenging when you're working a 9 to 5 because you'll be exhausted. You're one person. So that statement when they say bosses don't sleep, yes, they don't. So I got a question for us today. We're gonna talk about occupation. I want y'all to think. We're gonna title this segment "Purpose Over Profit." Purpose over profit. Make sure you follow me there. All right? Purpose over profit. And the question that we're going to talk about today is, how does your daily work add goodness to the lives of others? Say this again. How does your daily work add goodness to the lives of others? Now, I'm going to give you a minute to let that resonate. Whatever it is that you do, I don't care if you frying French fries or you folding linen. It's something that you can do to bring goodness to the lives of others. What is that? And I want you to think about that. Many of us have jobs that we do not want to go to, and it makes us feel miserable. We get up in the morning and be like, dang, I got to go here. Well, at least if you're going to work, why don't you do something you enjoy doing? And if it's that difficult, start applying for those type of jobs in those fields. Now, we're not going to be always able to change the people that get hired, but guess what? That's the same thing in a family. You ain't going to always like all the way that the family work all the time and do things, but I had to learn that too. But also, I realized that me having problems with seeing how some other individuals are on job sites, it pushed me to be like, it's time for you to get your own business off the ground. And I did. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to answer this one. How does your daily work add goodness to the lives of other people? Mine is kind of easy to explain because the 9 to 5 that I punch a clock at is senior care. I do senior care. I've been doing hospitality and senior care for over 20 years. The thing is that this is exactly what has prompted me to not only achieve my degree, but also what prompted my vision to start building and creating what I'm building. The colony. I can go on and on, but you're going to have to go back and look at them videos. Okay? Now, with senior care, it comes with a lot. And it can be very heavy emotionally, mentally, and depending on what duties you are required physically. But the goodness that I bring, at first I didn't see that. And to be honest, it's a reciprocal thing because just like I give goodness to them, they give goodness to me. When I say, and I've talked about this in other videos, these are gems just sitting around us, and it's like we letting them accumulate dust. We put them over in the corner. Y'all better start. And if you are, I love it. If you're not, get to going. Connect with your elders. Now, the senior care that I do, my more issues come from the administrative work behind the agencies, facilities, and institutions that control to make sure that there are systems in place for senior care to be attended to. And definitely can do better. But here's the thing. We as individuals can do just as good in our own family. We don't have to rely on those institutions. We go ahead and we do our righteous work. And because that elder has been in the family and taken care of us, let's give back. Now, the goodness that I do bring is more of assisting. You know what I mean? Connecting, trusting, loving, trusting and loyalty and companionship and entertainment. But it's the knowledge and the wisdom that I in turn get. So what I'm able to do, I'm able to take that knowledge and wisdom that is given to me, and then I give back out to the world. You know why? Because everybody might not be accessible to this elder who is highly respected. I'm more of being able to continue on the conversations with the elders because the wisdom is just like the knowledge you get from a textbook. It's just in this body. It's in this soul. And there's a book, and it just made me think about it. There's an author called Mitch Albom. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. His name is Mitch Albom, and he wrote a book, two that I remember. One was called Tuesdays with Maury, and the other one was called The Five People I Meet in Heaven. I read both of them, and they are very good reads. So after you buy my books and read my books, make sure you go and get the book. You can also go to the library. They are known for having them, but guess what? I've been so popular to see them so often at the thrift store. Where is it that? Because it's not a very big book. I say maybe between 100 and 150 pages, if that many, but it's a very powerful message. But going back to what made me think about it is the Tuesdays with Murray is that this individual who was an author and a journalist, I believe, he decided to do, I guess, some memoirs or interview with this particular individual, and it lasted over, some time. Where is it that he was able to pick up, create so much content, and then he compiled it in a book. But he called it Tuesdays with Maury because he met with this man. Now, and I believe this is a true story too. I believe this is a true story. And he met with this man, quite often, regularly, and he compiled all the content based off of the information of the interviews that he gave. And he was asking this man some powerful stuff, and this man was deep. Don't quote me. The man was either a clergyman, a pastor, a priest. I'm not sure, but nevertheless, he has such respected recognition that the particular journalist or writer wanted to do this interview with him. But he also had, I believe, some childhood connection to him. Nevertheless, that's what it speaks of. And I've been doing that with the seniors that I not only work with, but I've always been one to navigate towards seniors. I'm not the one that's just going to walk past them. I'm the one that's going to actually stop and we're going to have a conversation. And I'm going to listen. I didn't always do that. I didn't always listen to them because it's like, oh, what do they want? They done been here and they have something that they could share with me. Let me stop and listen. And I guess it don't dawn on us because we're not there yet, right? So when I think about the goodness that my work does, and we're going to go back to the title of this, The Purpose of a Prophet. My purpose and my calling is to serve, is to help, is to uplift, to inspire. And our seniors sometimes be in a state where they just feel like, man, nobody cares anymore. And I love that I'm able to I'm glad I'm able to show them that they are by adding light to their life, by adding love to their life, by adding patience to their life, by adding safety to their life. And I wanted to make sure, especially over these last decades, that when I work, especially a job or employment, my morals and values are so strong and deep rooted in righteousness, empathy, humanity, that I'm not going to even lie to y'all. I have said some things to some managers that I know that they didn't like. But it needed to be said. And Spirit loved messing with me. So just based off that comment, it made me think of, I also have a WordPress blog. Please look me up, the Godmother. Check me out, WordPress. But I came across a reading, and it spoke of an article that an individual made. And this particular individual, his name is Velasquez, but he talked about how a lot of times people are labeled difficult or not good in some job settings or employment environments because people don't like that they speak up for themselves. See, you ever work for a place and you start working for them and you start seeing the internal issues, not the external. We ain't talking about that. That's why you're supposed to do an internal inventory check. I might be saying it wrong, but it's like an internal check of your surroundings. But you ever be working at a place and you be working there after a while, you be like, this shit ain't right. These motherfuckers fucked up over here. And then when you start realizing that your inner self, the true essence of who you are, is not okay with this because it's not right, you start speaking up in a respectable, professional way. But they've been so used to people keeping their mouth shut that now you're stating something and you got that professionalism, you have that intellect, you have the knowledge, and when you present itself, now you done piss somebody off because you done hurt their feelings. You done rubbed them the wrong way because the truth need to come out. Well, this man talked about this in this article. And I know exactly what they speak of because that's what happened. I've worked in many positions where, because of who I am, got me the job. But the reason why I left is because who I am was not able to stay in that position because I'm not able to change the job. I can change who I am and leave, but these people, let me tell you something. I don't know if you all know about what ethics in the workplace is, but sometimes they don't have it. So when I think over purpose over profit, I think to where is it that my calling is important to me, to where is it that I will not sacrifice my morals and values just for a little cash. I used to do it, not doing it no more. The reason why I have not reached the goal that I'm constantly aiming for, and that's, trust me, I am progressing, I'm moving, but I'm taking a little longer because I'm taking the stairs. And that's because I'm carrying my integrity and my dignity. And when I realized that I was sacrificing them both, the fact that it was bothering me that I was sacrificing them both let me know I did not need to be in those positions. I worked for a hotel. Once I told you I've been in hospitality and senior care for over 20 years. Really, hospitality over 30 years. And two incidents. One, I explained to the manager that we don't need to oversell. For those of you who are not knowledgeable, when it comes to oversell, hotels and motels have the opportunity to either decide to say either we have no vacancies or we oversell. Ethically, when you run out of rooms, just no vacancies. Unethically, they're going to sell rooms that they've already sold because in their mind, what happens when somebody cancels? Anyway, I got a problem with that. Because I'm going to tell you what happens. Once you oversell, and then you still get sold out, now you still have these oversell rooms. Now I have to walk these people. And when they come in, they're going to curse me out from head to toe. And believe me, when they ask for the manager, I get it. So you know what I do? I ain't gonna lie. Throw that motherfucking hotel under the bus. Baby, these are the policies of the hotel. Unfortunately, if it was up to me, I would not have sold your room. And they have presented me with to be the one to be able to take you to another hotel. I do apologize. I'm just as pissed. I've done it. One time, the general manager says, well, you can't do that. And I said, you know what you gonna do? You gonna work this shift. Deuces. I don't play. How can you be like that in the hospitality industry? And for those of you that know, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. That bothers me. So we're going to be the ones that you come to my hotel, we're going to have that sign that say, no vacancies, No vacancies, sorry. Because I'm not going to do that to y'all. That's greed. So, purpose over profit for me means that my purpose, my integrity, my dignity, my calling, what my heart wants is going to be more important than the profit. Do I want to make money? Yes. I'm not going to sit here and run that script to y'all. Yes. But I still have self-respect for myself to where is it that, yes, I have boundaries. And I'm not going to cross them for anybody. I went from being a stripper to being a teacher. I teach not what the stripper do. I teach for us to be able to learn who we are within and be able to rise to our best self. I have a degree in business administration. Yes, I know what it takes to drop out of school, 8th grade, and I still have a college degree. I'm just going to let you know that shows and that speaks of what I have done. And I promise you, I'm not even worried. I didn't buy mine. I went through all the steps. Matter of fact, I got every essay I wrote, and I did not ever duplicate one. For 2 years, I was working on my cell phone and going to the library. Real talk. But anybody that know me, school was never a problem for me. It was the people. Whole nother conversation. So with me, the way that I add goodness to other people's lives through my job is that I am an assistant to them. I am a companion for them. I am a safe haven. I am trusted. You know what I mean? And I give these things to these individuals because they are the respected elders and we're supposed to tend to them. And I do. And I know y'all got some out there yourself. But even with that of the senior care, what do you do in your daily work that bring lives to others, that bring goodness to the lives of others? And I want you to really think about that deeply. Because many of us just go to work because we want the money. And sometimes we don't even have any meaning behind what we want the money for. You want to go and you want to make this money, and then before you know it, you find yourself still there in 30 years. You haven't moved up. You haven't gained anything. What are we doing? I know some people that refuse to move up in some positions in companies because they said, I don't want the responsibility. So you just want to keep on making money every hour, bringing in a check every week or 2 weeks because that's what you want. You know what? You're entitled to that. But for those that want more, because at some point, when you're working for someone else, you don't ever know if it's going to get to a point where they're going to be like, either we're no longer in a position to keep you on, or we're no longer want to keep you on. I know an individual that gave a job 30 years. This individual worked as a maintenance man and manager of an apartment complex for 30 years. In 30 years, this individual did not start their own company, did not purchase any type of property, did not even purchase any property from the company that he worked for. And do you know this company relieved this individual of their services after they completed the 30-year mark? So I'm not knocking you for going to work. Be mindful. So the purpose over profit means that what is your purpose for going to this job, employment, work where you do? Is it just for them? Or it's just the money? You got the capability to make money within you. You just got to pull it out of you. You got to know. We all got gifts. Some people haven't unwrapped theirs. You check out my book, Set Your Ship to Sail, Set your ship to sail, help you unpack your gifts, unwrap them. I know we don't be thinking about this, and I know this is the farthest thing that we want to be thinking about, but it's something for us to think about. Now, I have a little oral activity that I feel like that we all should do, right? So we're talking about purpose over profit, and we're talking about how does your daily work bring goodness to the lives of others, right? And more importantly, it need to be bringing some type of goodness to you. Because when you work for a job, when you go and you give your energy and your time to a business that you don't own, you're giving a part of yourself. And even though you're getting money, you're still draining yourself for a legacy that you're not able to leave for your own. They've already established that. I want you to think of that. In addition to thinking of that, I got an oral activity that I want us to do. And so the oral activity is that I want us to describe our job's deepest purpose to someone using only positive adjectives. Okay? That means describe your job and the deeper purpose in a positive way. And it might be a little more difficult for others, but I want you to dig deep. If you got to, you got to dig deep, right? I know an individual that's been working at the same, I've been over 20 years, and I know that this individual has been at this particular McDonald's for 15. My advice to anybody that works in chains like that, you better have some stock. Because I know they give you more opportunities in a better way than maybe than they do us. Not saying we're not accessible to, but you should. You should. So I'm going to describe my job's deeper purpose. And when I say job, because when I say my career, I speak of my gifts and talents that I'm utilizing. And my business is growing. That's that creative productions, which combines that that author, that event planning, and that motivational speaking all in one. Remember what I told you in a couple videos back? I am an immersed narrative architect. I create worlds. Fuck with. So, me describing in a deeper, my job's deeper purpose, I'm going to say the connecting and the welcoming, right? Some seniors have nobody that ever come visit them. So for me to be able to be on the scene with them daily, that gives them something to look forward to. That gives them something to feel good about, right? And especially when they're trusting you, that makes them feel comfortable. You don't know what the previous night or the weekend went over when you weren't there. But when you come back, it's like they're looking for you. You know what I'm saying? They're ready. And they show great appreciation. I ain't talking about just materialistic. Like, they will say thank you, appreciative. Can some of them be mean? Yes, but I think we focus and put that, just like the stereotype of young folks, y'all keeping chaos and don't know how to do. That is a stereotype for elders. All elders ain't mean. They're gonna be honest with you. They don't have no reason to lie. Not saying they don't lie, but I'm saying they're gonna be honest with you how they feel. They may lie about what they want you to know. But we're gonna move away from that stereotype. They also show gratitude and say thank you. Like I said before, they're grateful and thankful. And that deeper purpose for me is just like, man, even at the elder age, they can still be able to have these simple gestures just to be able to let you know. They also will let you know, don't touch that. Don't go in that room. The directness makes some people uncomfortable. I love it. I've always laughed at it all my life. I sit right at the cookout. I sit by the uncles and aunts and the elders. I be laughing because they be talking about everybody. Oh no, she didn't wear that. And guess what? My thing like, oh, they gonna hear me. They be like, I want her here. Tell her, come here. And they come in. Now, why you wear that? Don't you know we see your ass? And look, they might like, okay, all right, that's fine. I'm just not gonna look at you because I don't want. So I've always loved the honesty of them, and trust me, they've gotten on me. They have gotten on me, and I promise you, I sit there, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, no, ma'am, no, sir. I showed it, and I take it in. That plays a big part on how the godmother was created. I am thankful that I have the times with the elders. It hurts me because some of the ones that I didn't get that time with, I know what gems they were sitting on. A couple of more positive objectives: nurturing and attentive. That's the deeper purpose of my job, nurturing and attentive. You know, they may forget that they have to go to the grocery store. They may forget that, yes, they have to take that medicine. But the fact that I remind them lets them know that I care, right? And so they feel good about that. And I want y'all to think about, I want y'all to do that. Describe your job in a deeper purpose, you know what I'm saying, to someone using only positive adjectives. That's why I've did it with you all. I know that what I'm doing when it comes to that position, it's given back in a way that was given to me. And I feel good about that. Like I do. I do have to create boundaries because I'm very sensitive and I'm an empath. So my thing is this, is that I've had to deal with the passing of a senior. Like, that doesn't feel good when you get close, even they not family, when you get close to them. So that becomes difficult. And what we have to do is understand that that comes with anybody. So what I do is I enjoy them as much as I can. I listen to their suggestions and they listen to mine. But I told myself, because of who I am, I'm not going to last on any job that does not fulfill me internally. And it's not just the money. I'm telling you, my family can tell you, I've walked away from money. I've told many general managers, you have a good one. Please, I wish y'all the best. I'm the asset. And my purpose going to always be over profit because I have a vision. What's meant for me and coming to me will not miss me. I'm not going to be thirsty out here. That's exactly why I told you I'm taking a stand, because I'm carrying my dignity and my integrity. And I hope that when it comes to what you all are doing, that you think about purpose over profit. Your purpose could be like, yeah, I need to make the money, but it's still, that's the profit. What's the purpose? What is it for? Is it something else you can do? That's why sometimes, and like I told y'all before, as a stripper, when I was a stripper, I wasn't in the mindset, how can I get out? It took for me to get married to my husband to say, you out. Got it. But he also presented to me, you got so many other gifts. And we're going to invest in them. And he did. And right when he did that, it made me like, wow. He said, yeah, anybody can shake their ass. He said, but we're going to make sure you got all these other gifts. We're going to make sure that you have everything that you need. And at that time, he funded what I needed to be able to be fully supplied to do nails. Think about that when you think about why you're doing what you're doing, especially when it plays part in what it is that you want to do. Does it have purpose? Does it have meaning? Only you can answer that. And you know what? I came up with a little symbol, you know what I'm saying, for this topic, and we're going to use the bullseye purpose. What's the target? What are you aiming for? Do you even know? They start finding out. Many people making money, but they not building foundations and legacy. We're buying things, we're not accumulating assets. We got a place to stay. We don't own our own. We got to think in that nature. I know I am. And that's definitely due to the conversation, the dialogue, the videos, the content, the podcast, the creators. And I call them my teachers that I follow. And I love the messages that they are instilling in me. Thank you. Appreciate. A lot of times when we are faced with just lifening, and we have to still survive in here, because it's not like it's a game. We can be like, we're gonna go to the stad and we're gonna stay out for a couple of days. Nope. We don't hide from life. If you hide from life, you're not here. And I understand that, or I say that to say, so I understand why you have to go and make that dollar. I'm still gonna call choice. Apply for what it is you know that you feel good about doing when you do it. And even if you know that you're not in no position to change the individuals that's there, make sure that you have built up such a mindset to where is it that when you go to do what it is that you know you can do and you actually like doing it, you're not going to let nobody else stop you or intervene or trigger you or get in your way. You want to climb the ladder, climb the ladder. You want to make it to the top, man. You have dreams and goals, set them. Let that be your purpose, not the profit. Don't necessarily know, you know what I'm saying, if everybody received what I'm saying, but I promise you, it made me think because I move in that way now. When it comes to how I make an honest monetary gain and how I make money, it plays a part on how does it affect me morally. And I pay deep attention to that. I didn't always. And that's why, as the godmother, it's my responsibility and my duty to let y'all know this is what we need to do. I thank you all. I'm not going to keep you all too long. You guys have, you know what I'm saying, been rolling with me so much. And, you know, just to recap, we had the question: how does your daily work add goodness to the lives of others? And when you think about that, you think about your purpose over profit. We take away the money and what you make, but what else does that particular job you do, what fulfillment does it bring into you or someone else? Because what we do on a regular basis, job, school, interactions with individuals, family, personal relationships, significant others, marriages, they play a part in how we act, how we think, how we maneuver, because that's the impact they have. So don't think that that job that you're going to is not having no impact. Just make sure it's positive. So normally I have my tea. I didn't have my tea today, but I'm going to spill the tea because it is the T for thankfulness, E is for experiences, and A is for accomplishments. The T, I am always thankful for my breath, my senses, my body, me showing up. My experiences, every time I make a video, I feel good that spirit can just allow me to flow. And my accomplishments is that, man, I went from a dropout to a college degree. My accomplishments is the discipline that I gave myself to be able to accomplish stuff. I want you to have an amazing day on purpose. I wish you nothing but goodness and grace, greatness, and be safe. Until we meet again, thank you so much for joining me in the Godmother podcast. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you have not. Much love.